May 15th, 2024. I feel like a big dum dum because I was trying to figure out how the hell to enable my camera to live stream with, and I can't figure it out. I thought it was automatically set up so, but when I uncovered my camera for the live stream, the screen was still black. So I don't know what's wrong. I was gonna show my Gore Vidal book, and apparently I'm not, and that's not gonna happen. So tough for me. But I've been a little reading themed this week, and I've read. Let's see. Gonna take a look. Gonna take a look. I'll say goodbye to love. No one ever cared if I should leave. Okay, Ooh, yeah. So, since my last ramble, I've read 7 essays. The Birds and the Bees, How to Find God and Make Money, Rich Kids, Drugs, The 4 Generations of the Addams Family, First Note on Abraham Lincoln, and Lincoln, and the Priests of the Academe, Part 1. Didn't know it was a 2-parter. These essays have been great. Don't have anything necessarily new to say about them. I've really tried to do a good job reading them, and I think for the most part I have. I still get tripped up on names, French, and sentence rhythm, but I think for the most part I do pretty okay. He has a lot of asides and a lot of questions, and which I have to uptalk to emphasize that it's a question. And I'm sounding like Celine Dion. But in the Lincoln and Priest of the Academe, Gore's little bitchy side has come out, which I love because it's a very important question when asking, can you write historical fiction? And the answer is yeah, sure, you can. It's fiction. But when people get their panties in a twist over facts and you're crossing over into faction, you're then having to ask the inevitable question, what's the truth? And like he said, it's impossible to know what the truth is because whomever is writing the history books is writing down what future generations will perceive to be the truth. And as we all know, it is not. So any gripes about any one passage or phrase in a book of historical fiction or faction can be pointless because it'll be pointed to the whatever the citation is, and whatever the citation is will be text from some kind of collection, bound collection, or maybe pamphlet, in which there is a source, but who can say if this, how absolute the source is? So Gore's in a pissing match between himself and other what he calls hagiographies. Is it hagiographies? See, there's also words that I'm probably butchering and mispronouncing, but I think I got academe right, which makes me happy. Y'all, I'm really trying to push myself into embracing these essays. Not that I don't embrace them, but I really want to push my intellect and my attention and my apathy. I'm trying to like curtail these faults of mine, and I'm using I'm using this as a way to do it, which isn't bad, I guess. But I'm at least trying. I recently watched a couple movies. One of them was The Holdovers. I'm very staunch in not paying like whatever it is you pay to rent movies off of streaming services nowadays when you can just get it from the library for free. And if you can torrent it, even better, I guess. But I've been wanting to watch it because Sideways is probably one of my very favorite movies. I love Sideways. I've seen it easily 10 times. Somewhere probably more in between 10 and 20. It's one of my favorites. I've given it away to friends. Quite literally, I've given discs that I got from the store I used to work at. I've given the discs to friends. Discs to friends that don't use discs because I love the movie so much. And I don't hesitate to say that Alexander hasn't topped Sideways and probably never will. It's pretty much a perfect movie. And that's something that a lot of people will groan about in terms of like what they think film snobs would say. And I don't consider myself a film snob. I am snobbish on certain films, but Sideways is fucking perfect. I love the movie. I hate the fact this happens with anybody I like. There's something that comes out about their character, and my image of them is forever tainted. And although that's good, it knocks the pedestal down. It also compromises what it was I liked about them. And it creates this moral dilemma in me and whether or not I should support the person's work anymore. So apparently, let's see. I gotta pull up the Wikipedia for this. Fuck. Let's see. In a 2018 interview with Ronan Farrow, actress Rose McGowan accused a prominent man in Hollywood of statutory rape, but she did not name the person in question. In August 2020, McGowan said that it was Payne and that he committed the act sometime in 1988 or 1989 when McGowan was 15 years old and Payne was 28 years old. I don't know why I'm congested. Payne responded to McGowan's allegations by writing a guest column in Deadline Hollywood in which he admitted to a consensual relationship with her, but denied any impropriety, alleging that they had met in 1991 when she was over the age of consent, which is 18 in California. Payne ended his statement writing, "While I cannot allow false statements about events 29 years ago to go uncorrected, I will continue to wish only the best for Rose." So you have both sides. You have one side alleging something happened and one side denying. And the choice with you, the viewer of the artist in question, is do you support the art? And it's something that's really difficult for me because, like I said, Sideways is one of my very favorite movies. I love it. I think it's well made, and I've watched it and will probably continue to watch it in years to come. Does it bum me out that this is something that more than likely happened? Yes. which is a confession that I believe her. Um, let's see. The thing of it is the and here's whoever's writing history, a prime example. She says 88 or 89, and he says 91. She was 18 in late 91. So that's like, dude, that's like a 2 to 3 year time frame in which, if they did have relations, she's right. He did commit statutory rape, which is very serious. But of course, people will overlook because it was quote unquote consensual between two people. Well, if she was a minor, then yeah, it's a big problem. Um and even if he didn't do it, the age gap is pretty considerable concerning somebody that was like 15, 16, 17, 18, or in their mid to late 20s. It's kind of gross. And I'm inclined to believe her more than I believe him. Yet, he trots on as if everything's fine. And I love Citizen Ruth. I love Election. I love about Schmidt. The Descendants. We saw it in theater. Did I see it in theaters? I think we did. I think I did see it in theaters. I'd have to check my stick it tub box. Stub box. I have a little jewelry box that I don't keep jewelry in. I keep old ticket stubs in because it's the perfect little box for it. And I'm not gonna go bust it out now because I don't care. But I think we saw it in theaters, and it was okay. But then Nebraska, he came back with that I thought was better, but kind of eh. And then Downsizing was awful. The first, 20, 25 minutes was great, and then the rest, I don't get it, dude. I don't get it. It's an original concept, and I thought it was pretty awful, to be honest. And then the Holdovers, which, like, I love Paul. One of the main reasons why I love Paul or Sideways is because of Paul Giamatti's performance. And I've watched Paul for years. I love him in Duets. I love him in American Splendor. I love him. What else do I love him in? I don't know. A great many different things he's played in. And he was fine in this. But there's just something about this that I don't know. I don't know. I don't think my mood is sullied because of my feelings on Alexander necessarily. It might be a little bit. Like, it was shot beautifully, and for the time period that they were telling the story in, the set dressing was beautiful. But aside from that, I didn't really think it was that great. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't it's okay. So I watched that. And then I watched this movie called Drive My Car, which I'm such a terrible critic. I thought for a long time I could be a film critic, but I could never be a film critic because I can't articulate my critiques of any given film. So I started this movie at like 1 or 2 last night, and I watched half of it, and then I finished it today. It's a movie about a Japanese movie about a guy who is a stage actor and director who lives with his wife, and they're involved in this play, Uncle Vanya, by Chekhov, which I've also read. And I don't want to spoil it for anything, but a few things happen that alters the protagonist, and he has to change the play, and the play parallels what's going on with his real life, or the play's lines are kind of paralleling his life, and he's trying to move through his life events with the aid of the play, which could be an oversimplification, but I thought it was beautifully shot. I thought one of the characters was really creepy, and he did a good job being a creep. I completely missed a notable point to the ending, which I only read after the fact, and I feel kind of dumb. But I thought it was a good movie. I'm not going to say it was more... I can't compare it to The Holdovers, that's just dumb. But it was... It had a dullness to it, but it was an interesting dullness that kept me interested just long enough for when the dullness seceded and it picked back up again. These kind of movies require you to... It's such a challenge for someone like me who cannot sit still and has like 20 things on my mind at any given time. It requires you to chill the fuck out and just relax and just look and watch. So it has a lot of these great shots of this car. The film is called Drive My Car. Good title. And the car is a red Saab 900 Turbo. Kind of not unlike Sideways, which also had a Saab. I don't know if it'll say what Saab it was. Let's see. I've been meaning to look this up all day. Stop it! I hate it when it does it. Can you hear that? Isn't that fun? Yeah, but Sideways has a Saab. It's a different kind of Saab. Okay, I can't, I'm stuck on this. I have to know. Sideways Saab. Is it a 900 as well? Oh, it is. It is. It's a 1987 Saab 900 Cabrio Turbo. Oh, that's so cool. What car? Okay. 900. Okay, Saab 900 Vert. And then Drive My Car Saab was a... Oh, what was it? 900 or Saab 900 Turbo. Both red, both sexy. I would drive this car. I'm just in the middle of trying to figure out what my next move is for what my next whatever will be in the future. And honestly, I kind of want a Saab. If I had money to burn, I think I would get one. Because it's a cute, sexy car. It's not, but it is. And it's cute and unsexiness. I like it. Could barely use it for anything except tootling around town. But it had these nice establishing shots. Where you see the car driving and the character thinking, and the characters interacting with the other characters while he's thinking. And as impatient as I am, I'm patient enough to let the director take me along with this and let my thoughts unwind. The problem is they unwind too much, and I forget paying attention to the film when it's not the establishing shots. And sometimes I feel like I miss the point of the film. Like, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but like, there's a crucial part of the film where you want one character to confess something to another, and he doesn't. And I'm more fixated and angry about that than the reason why the character is not um why the character why the one character is not confessing to the other character what's gone on between the two. Because I was literally sitting here saying to my screen, "Tell him," but it's clearly like a 4D chess. Like, there's power in not telling a person what you know about a transgression a person has committed, because you can draw more information out of them. And yeah, duh, I know. I still want you to say, "I know what you did, and this is how it affected me." The problem with that is I don't think the other character gives a shit. But as I've said, I've I have I've either read Uncle Vanya or skimmed it. I have it within 3 or 4 feet of me, by Anton Chekhov. Let me see the plot. It's been a while since I've cracked it open. Uncle Vanya. The play portrays the visit of an elderly professor and his glamorous, much younger second wife, Yelena, to the rural estate that supports their urban lifestyle. Two friends, Vanya, brother of the professor's late first wife, who has long managed the estate, and Astrov, the local doctor, both fall under Yelena's spell while bemoaning the ennui of their provincial existence. Sonia, the professor's daughter by his first wife, who has worked with Vanya to keep the estate going, suffers from her unrequited feelings for Astrov. Matters are brought to a crisis when the professor announces his intentions to sell the estate, Vanya and Sonia's home, with a view to investing the proceeds to achieve a higher income for himself and his wife. Ooh. Mm-hmm. You have Uncle Vanya, Yelena, Sonia, Astrov, Professor Serebryakov, Maria, Marina, Telegen. Waffles. Oh. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at, like, the Wikipedia page for the productions of Uncle Vanya by Anton Chekhov. I'm seeing, of course, Richard Roxburgh. Steve Carell played Uncle Vanya. That's amazing. Allison Pills played Sonia. Allison makes the rounds. I neglect to understand actors that not only act in movies but act on the stage. You know how busy that must be. But how lovely that must be for actors who act for the sake not just of making a living but of acting because they love it. Anton Chekhov was a Russian playwright and short story writer who is considered to be one of the greatest writers of all time. His career as a playwright produced 4 classics, and his best short stories are held in high esteem by writers and critics. Along with Henrik Ibsen and August Strindberg, Chekhov is often referred to as one of the 3 seminal figures in the birth of early modernism in the theater. Chekhov was a physician by profession. "Medicine is my lawful wife," he once said, "and literature is my mistress." Hussy. Chekhov renounced the theater after the reception of The Seagull in 1896, but the play was revived to acclaim in 1898 by the Konstantin Stanislavski's Moscow Art Theater, which subsequently produced Chekhov's Uncle Vanya, and premiered his last two plays, Three Sisters and The Cherry Orchard. These four works present a challenge to the acting ensemble as well as to the audiences because in place of conventional action, Chekhov offers a theater of mood and a submerged life in the text. The plays that Chekhov wrote were not complex but easy to follow and created a somewhat haunting atmosphere for the audience. Chekhov at first wrote stories to earn money, but as his artistic ambition grew, he made formal innovations that influenced the evolution of the modern short story. He made no apologies for the difficulties this posed to readers, insisting that the role of an artist was to ask questions, not to answer them. Holy shit, and he died at 44? What the fuck? I didn't know that. I haven't brushed off on my Chekhov lately. Brushed off. Up, not off. Fuck it. In May 1903, Chekhov visited Moscow. The prominent lawyer Vasily Maklakov visited him almost every day. Maklakov signed Chekhov's will. By May 1904, Chekhov was terminally ill with TB. Ugh. Mikhail Chekhov recalled that everyone who saw him secretly thought the end was not far off, but the nearer he was to the end, the less he seemed to realize it. On June 3rd, he set off with Olga for the German spa town of Badenweiler in the Black Forest in Germany, where he wrote outwardly jovial letters to his sister Masha, describing the food and surroundings and assuring her and his mother that he was getting better. In his last letter, he complained about the way German women dressed. Way to spend your time, dude. Chekhov died on July 15th, 1904, at the age of 44 after a long flight with TB. The same disease that killed his brother. I think if I got TB, I'd probably want to kill myself, to be honest. It sounds awful. Awful, 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 awful. Chekhov's death has become one of the great set pieces of literary history, retold, embroidered, and fictionalized many times since, notably in the 1987 short story Errand by Raven Carver. In 1908, Olga wrote this account of her husband's last moments. Lay it on me, Olga. Anton sat up unusually straight and said loudly and clearly, although he knew almost no German, Ich sterbe. I'm dying. The doctor calmed him, took a syringe, and gave him an injection of camphor, and ordered champagne. Anton took a full glass, examined it, smiled at me, and said, "It's a long time since I drank champagne." He drained it, and lay quietly on his left side, and I just had time to run to him and lean across the bed and call to him. But he had stopped breathing and was sleeping peacefully as a child. Now, Olga was Chekhov's historian, and whether or not that is fact or fiction is known only to Olga, as it should be. If she wanted to write him a beautiful out, that was hers to do. And on the record, I like the name Olga, and I like the name Una. Chekhov's body was transported to Moscow in a refrigerated railway car meant for oysters, a detail that offended Gorky. Some of the thousands of mourners followed the funeral procession of a General Keller by mistake to the accompaniment of a military band. Chekhov was buried next to his father at the Novodevichy Cemetery. What what a story. Chekhov's body was transported to Moscow in a refrigerated railway car meant for oysters. Gorky. Who the fuck is Gorky? Popular was a Russian and Soviet writer, socialism proponent. Was he a friend? What's up, Gorky? Let's see. He received such guests as Tolstoy and Gorky. Okay, so he was a friend. Or an enemy, contemporary. Ooh, Chekhov with Leah Tolstoy at Yalta. Yalta is a resort city on the south coast of the Crimean Peninsula surrounded by the Black Sea. Ooh. European Russia. Yalta. So, it was an interesting movie. Drive My Car. And I'm not sure the effort that went into it for an audience goer such as myself was matched. As much as I want to believe I'm I'm somewhat intelligent, this one took some doing for me to watch. But it all depends on what's going on, in the person that's receiving the art, and how much of their attention is being paid to what they're watching. And it's of no fault to the creator of my inability to assess the art. Yuna meaningfully delivers Sonia's final lines. We shall hear the angels, we see the whole sky all in diamonds. We shall see how all earthly evil, all our sufferings are drowned in the mercy that we fill the whole world. And our life will grow peaceful, tender, sweet as a caress. You've had no joy in your life, but wait, Uncle Vanya, wait. We shall rest. Let me see here. Saab. Ooh. And he won an Oscar. The director won an Oscar. What did it win for? Won one Oscar. Like 4 years ago? 3, or however it's held. I think I am an ignoramus. Why are you not working? Okay, I'm glad nobody's here right now. I sound like a dum-dum. Best International Feature Film. I'll have to watch that Oscar speech from Ryozuki Hamaguchi. I hate butchering languages as names, but I really don't know any better. Probably because I don't speak Japanese, unfortunately. Beautiful language, though. It had some very poignant lines in the movie that I liked quite a bit. And one of the lines I liked the most was delivered by a character I liked the least, which is perfect. Because he's not wrong, but he's a scumbag. But even if you think you know someone well, even if you love that person deeply, you can't completely look into that person's heart. You'll just feel hurt. But if you put in enough effort, you should be able to look into your own heart pretty well. So in the end, what we should be doing is to be true to our hearts and come to terms with it in a capable way. If you really want to look at someone, then your only option is to look at yourself squarely and deeply. So when I was watching that, and that scene is interesting because he looks really creepy in that, but it works for the words that he's using. Even if you think you know someone well, even if you love that person deeply, you can't completely look into that person's heart. You'll just feel hurt. I do think when people have feelings for other people, I do think there's an element to that, to where they see something positive in that other person, and sometimes they see a positive that is familiar to them because it's within themselves, and it feels good to see that in another person and feel good about it. And if you see it in another person, I think a couple of things. I think one, you see it in another person and it's attractive and you like it because it's good. You see it in another person and it feels familiar, but you can't understand why because you can't see it within yourself. I think when you see it in another person and you can't understand why, and you see it within Jesus, and you can't see it within yourself, you see it within another person, you can begin to see it in yourself. I think as a person gets older, and they engage with other people on all different kinds of levels, with all different kinds of emotions and different relationship statuses, with different feelings and different experiences with different people. A big part of that is um, unveiling themselves to themselves, even through other people. Not that you want to use other people, but it's just a byproduct of being with other people that you recognize things within yourself. Things within yourself are opened like a Pandora's box because of other people, all different kinds of things. And that's kind of how I took that passage. You can't completely look into the other person's heart. You'll just feel hurt. I think because, and there's a part of that quote that kind of feels like, okay, but even if you think you know someone well, even if you love that person deeply, you can't completely look into that person's heart. You'll just feel hurt because I think people put each other up on pedestals so damn high that as that pedestal is ascending, you continuously close the dampers on like the red flags and the faults of the person. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on that pedestal. You know, if you start to knock down, take out chunks of that pedestal and that pedestal's falling, then reality is hitting you and making you face what you didn't believe to be true. You wanted the truth of what you thought that person was. You didn't want the reality of what that person was. And what the reality of what that person was that they're a human being. They're fallible. They are very capable of making mistakes and will. And if you love somebody and you have those feelings for that somebody because they're esteemable or you admire them, and may do so because you don't see those things within yourself, and you start to see the cracks in that person, it's kind of taking away that love and that power that you either put into them or that came upon you from loving you. There's, like I've said before in one of my rambles, there's a lot of hurt in love because it's one of the rawest of emotions, I think, that human beings can have. It's a many faceted thing. Um, but if you can begin to understand how that other person is a human being and that they're fallible and that they're trying their best through whatever obstacles they're going through, um, you'll, that kind of need to put them on a pedestal and need for them to be more than what they are will go away. And I think the love will be deeper because you'll be seeing them for who they are and not who you want them to be. And that may then help you love yourself more and come to terms more with yourself. I think every day people are actively working to close the dampers or snuff out the candles on the things about themselves that they don't like instead of doing the work to confronting those things. And you're actively working against yourself every day by not confronting the things about yourself that you don't like, and that's inhibiting you from progressing as an individual and prohibiting you from progressing as an individual capable of interacting with other people who are more than likely going through the same thing. And I think love is trying to zigzag its way through all that mess. So that quote stood out to me. There was another good quote. Um, let's see. One of let's see. I don't think I can find it. The director was trying to tell the actor how to act, and I liked his explanation of how to interpret of how to express what he was feeling and why his limitations were what they were. I feel like I'd have to watch this movie again. I did the thing I should never do. Not that you shouldn't ever rent movies from libraries, but when you rent them and then procrastinate watching them and then have to get them back so you're not a scumbag because you don't get late fees, but you're keeping them from other people experiencing them, you rush through it. But this was a movie that required more than I was able to give at this time, but I was happy that I'm happy that I watched it because at least got a little bit out of it. And I run the risk of like when I do this, I run the risk of never watching the movie again. And that might very well happen, but I at least I felt the gravity of that passage of what that character said to another, and I think not all films are capable of having that kind of exchange between two characters, and that's unfortunate. And I think I missed the whole parallel between Drive My Car and Uncle Vanya because I haven't read Uncle Vanya in a while. I don't know it fully. So I Drive My Car is a short story by Haruki Murakami. So I'm sorry, Haruki. I'll try to do better. Ooh, he signs his name with this circle. Anyway. So yeah. I think I'm gonna wrap it up. I don't know who the hell listens to these. I have a few suspicious. I know of one. But if you listen to me ramble for 45 minutes to an hour, bless you. And thank you. I appreciate that. I tried to turn my webcam on, but for whatever reason, I can't figure it out, and I feel like a big dum-dum, an ignoramus. But I've learned by watching Drive My Car that for whatever reason I didn't learn from Sideways is that I like Saabs. Maybe because in Drive My Car the Saab was shinier than the one in Sideways. The one in Sideways is supposed to look dilapidated because it's supposed to reflect the status of Miles's life. But I like it just the same. I like it even when it's in the shape it's in the beginning and the shape in the ending. When it's even more dilapidated. The Saab Vert 900 Saab 900 Vert and the Saab 900 Turbo. I like them. All right, that's all I got. Thanks for listening. Love you.